Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are building the booty. I especially love this workout because anybody can do it and you can literally do it anywhere. All you need is a long resistance band. I will link the one I am using down below. I just found it on Amazon, or if you have one already, perfect, but let's get into it. This workout is 3 circuits long. You're going to repeat each circuit 3 times and then move on to the next circuit with a burnout at the end. The best way to perform this workout would be to do as minimal rest as possible between the circuits, but then before you move on to the next circuit, you can go ahead and take a longer rest break if you do need it. You just want to make sure that you're keeping that heart rate up, keeping the blood pumping, and keeping all the activation in your glutes throughout the entire workout. So I definitely find the least amount of rest possible to give the best maximum burn and results. So starting off with these wide stance squats you see, you just want to make sure your feet are outside shoulder width, toes pointed slightly outward. And that resistance band, I'm holding it in the same position as I would if I was doing a barbell squat. I just have it dug in right above my shoulder blades, and then I'm just holding it on the sides to keep it in place. Then once you finish those, you'll immediately drop into the squat pulses you are seeing. Then you're immediately going to drop to the floor and go into some glute bridges. So for this, you can either do it on your heels or with your feet flat on the ground. You'll kind of see my feet alternating. It just depends on where you're feeling it the most in your glutes. Sometimes I feel it's necessary for me to lift my toes up, and then other times I'm feeling it just fine. So it just all depends on you. As well as that resistance band, I did double loop it around and then put it around my legs, so that way I'm pulling it apart while I'm doing the glute bridges, and it just gives you a maximum burn and contact in your glutes. Then I went ahead and just took the resistance band off to do the single leg glute bridges. And for these, I like to be on my heel. I just feel I get way better contact and it's a much more comfortable position for me personally. Again, if you feel more comfortable and more contact with just keeping your foot flat on the ground, go for it. But I personally like to do these especially on my heel. And again, making sure you're squeezing through the entire movement, and especially when you get to the top, squeezing as hard as you can. Once you repeat 3 rounds of that, you're going to move into the second circuit, which starting off with corner kicks. You're going to be doing this on the left and the right, obviously. Now you want to make sure you are on your elbows for this. That's going to put your body in a downward slant, which is going to take all the pressure and contact off your lower back as much as possible, make it much more comfortable for you, and give you contact where you should be getting it at, which would be the glutes and not your lower back. So for the corner kicks, you're not kicking out or kicking back like you do with a fire hydrant or a donkey kick. You're kicking right in between that, diagonally from your body, kicking out and up, and then bringing it right back to starting position. Then we are immediately going into the donkey kicks following the corner kicks. So for this, you want to stay in the same position. And I'm sure you guys have seen this exercise before, but the best tip I can give you is to keep your leg in the correct position, is to keep your foot flat like you're holding a pizza on it. That will ensure you're keeping your leg bent correctly throughout the entire movement, which will take any contact off of anywhere else where you may be feeling it at if you aren't ensuring that you're keeping your foot flat. So that way you can get the best contact possible in your glutes, and again, make sure you are squeezing. And then going into the single leg deadlifts, I did double loop the resistance band to make it more challenging. When you go down and up, you want to have a slight bend in your knee, and you want to go ahead and keep that resistance band as close to your leg as possible, just like if you were using dumbbells or a barbell. Always want to keep it as close to your body as possible. And then the other leg, I am just slightly keeping on the ground behind me, just balancing on my toes, just to help with stability, but I'm not putting any weight on that leg. It's solely just there to help with balance, and that is it, since this is a single leg deadlift. 3 rounds of that, and then we're moving into the last circuit, you guys. Starting off with the kneeling hip thrust, you just want to go ahead and tie that resistance band around any stable polar surface you can find, and then place it right at where you would place a barbell for doing hip thrusts, and go ahead on your knees. I like to have my knees slightly outside shoulder width apart, and I am on my toes for this. I end up putting my feet flat. You want to keep your toes up for more stability, as well as if I'm ever doing this with heavy weight on a cable machine with a weighted belt around my waist or anything, I definitely keep my toes up to give me more balance and pull, like force through the movement, obviously. But since we were doing such a light weight, I was able to get much more depth, putting my feet flat and letting my hips fall back as far as they possibly could, which is why I went on my flat feet. But do whichever way feels better for you. I did just want to pinpoint out why I did that. Then I went into the pull through, so I lowered the resistance band a little bit more, keeping those feet outside shoulder width, toes pointed slightly outward. And this is a hinging movement for your hips. You're just letting your hips fall backward, keeping that resistance band as close to your pelvic region as possible. And as you come up, you're squeezing your glutes as hard as you can. You're not squatting up and down, you're not moving up and down, you're literally just letting your hips fall backward and then pulling the weight up. And then I went ahead and lowered the resistance band a little bit lower to go into the standing hip abductions. So you just want to keep your legs slightly bent, and then go ahead and just kick the leg that you have the resistance band around out on your side as far as possible, and then come right back down and repeat that, and then switch over to the other side, and that will conclude this last circuit. And then we'll get into the burnout at the end, and then you are done. And then once you finish with the 3 rounds, we're going to go into the last part, which is the burnout. All you have left to do is 60 frog pumps. I don't care how you get them done. If you do them in sets, if you do 5 here, 5 there, or if you can get through them all at once, does not matter. Just get them done to the best of your ability. As you guys can see there, I have my upper body dug in the ground, chin tucked in, feet flat together, and bringing my feet in as close to my body as possible by allowing my knees to fall outward, squeezing my glutes through the entire movement and keeping my core tight. That is how you're going to perform this exercise. I learned how to do this from the glute god himself, Brett Contreras, on Instagram or on YouTube. You can find him. He is the one that actually created the glute hip thrust and a lot of other glute exercises you see, as well as a lot of scientific research and background to glute movements. And so all your favorite fitness gurus that you see doing glute hip thrusts and a lot of other things is because of that man and his work. So I definitely think he deserves some credit and never gets enough credit. So I did just want to mention that in there. But anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this workout. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And until the next one, bye guys.